You, Brutaha, took birth, made Chatarena, by my abdomen, Natha, O my Lord, Katham, how, Nu, then, Yasya, of whom, Udare, in the belly, Etat, this, Asit, did rest, Vishwam, universe, Yuga Ante, at the end of the millennium, Vatapatre, on the leaf of a banyan tree, Ekaha, alone, Shetesma, you lay down, Maya, possessing inconceivable powers, Shishuhu, a baby, Angri, your toe, Panaha, licking. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have taken birth from my abdomen. O my Lord, how is that possible for the Supreme One, who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation? The answer is that it is possible, for at the end of the millennium, you lie down on a leaf of a banyan tree, and just like a small baby, you lick the toe off your lotus feet. Purport. At the time of dissolution, the Lord sometimes appears as a small baby, lying on a leaf of a banyan tree, floating on the devastating water. Therefore, Devahuti suggests, your lying down within the abdomen of a common woman like me is not so astonishing. You can lie down on the leaf of a banyan tree and float on the water of devastation as a small baby. Therefore, it is not very wonderful that you can lie down in the abdomen of my body. You teach us that those who are very fond of children within this material world and who therefore enter into marriage to enjoy family life with children can also have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their child. And the most wonderful thing is that the Lord Himself licks His toe. Since all the great sages and devotees apply all energy and all activities in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of His lotus feet. The Lord licks His toe to taste the nectar for which the devotees always aspire. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within Himself, and in order to taste His own potency, He sometimes takes the position of tasting Himself. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna Himself, but He appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellow in Himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. Okay, I will read some prayers and then we can have some discussion. Om Ajnanathimirantasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarupyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshadarani Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskrityam Narancheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, devotees, welcome to today's morning class. We are reading again from Canto 3, Chapter 33, 4, Devahuti, uh, she is praying to his divine son. There are set of prayers in these verses, and one of them is today. I'll read the translation one more time. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you have taken birth from my abdomen. O my Lord, how is that possible for the Supreme One, who has in his belly all the cosmic manifestation? The answer is that it is possible, for at the end of the millennium, you lie down on a leaf of a banyan tree, and just like a small baby, you lick the toe of your lotus feet. Okay, uh, so there are a few things which I was contemplating on when I read this verse. One, Lord took birth in this material world, and that too in the womb of Devahuti. So coming back from our Sunday feast, where His Grace Subal Prabhu also spoke about the avatar, the incarnation of the Lord in this material world, as the term suggests, it is to cross. So Lord is taking birth in this material world. Uh, it is it is not like an ordinary birth, like how we knew. It is compared like an sunrise and sunset, even though the sun rises and sun sets, it's not that sun is uh, taken birth and is gone away. It's the appearance and disappearance of the sun that tells us that, oh, sun is going to come back again next day. So similarly, Lord is taking birth in this material world. It's just like an appearance and disappearance of sun. And in the purport, it's mentioned Devahuti, she says, or the Prabhupada says, that one of the reasons why Krishna is taking birth, that to teach us that those who are interested in to enter into the Grihastha ashrama, uh, this is one of the reasons where they can have children, to raise them in such a way that they are Krishna conscious. Uh, and in this case, Mother Devahuti, Lord himself has took birth in her womb. So that is one, to encourage the Grihastha ashrama. And when Lord takes birth into the material world, we read verses from Bhagavad Gita, or stated, Lord Krishna himself states that he is untouched by the matter, he's transcendental, he's unborn, and all of this. So I was thinking, but here Lord is taken birth from Mother Devahuti's womb, and how to understand that, like how we can say Lord is transcendental in this case, because if we, like we see all children around us, they are taking birth like from a mother's womb as well. So before that, I will just read a quick verse from Bhagavad Gita 4.6. It's a translation. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So Krishna states here that he appears in his own transcendental form and by his own free will. I think he mentioned Atma Mayaya. So by his own free will, he appears in this material world and not by karma. So that Krishna himself states, so that is one of the reason what we can believe that Lord is transcendental. Even Lord Kapila Muni, and he did not took birth because of his previous karma. And the other reasons that we already knew from this section of Bhagavatam, about Kapila Muni's appearance and the previous chapters, that before he appeared here, to Kardama Muni, he promised that to that he will appear as his son and teach the Sankhya philosophy. So therefore, after the 9 daughters were born to these parents, then the Lord took appearance or took birth from Mother Devahuti's womb. So that tells us that, okay, Krishna is appearing as Lord Kapila Muni. So therefore, he's transcendental. Also, Lord Brahma states uh, that about his divine nature. So therefore, we know he's transcendental. And as we also see, he's still as from the childhood, he is not being affected by material modes, and he is teaching to his mother about bhakti, about devotional service. So he remembers everything that we also knew, that Krishna, uh, not like any other ordinary being, that we forgetful of our own birth or even the previous few days. But Krishna remembers everything. So that is from his own words in Bhagavad Gita. So now the form of Kapila, Lord Kapila, and also other forms, like if we see Lord Vamana or Vishnu. So these are all his expansions. So how do we understand that? They are the same Supreme Person, but there are some distinctions based on how the divine qualities manifest in these appearances. Like there are about 64 divine qualities, and Krishna has full. He's fully opulent, and he has all these qualities in full. And there are opulences. There are about 16 opulences, and also each appearance of the Lord has a certain role to play and certain leela to fulfill. And as we know, Lord Kapila Muni's role or his leela here is to uh, preach the Sankhya philosophy, preach this transcendental knowledge, and through him, uh, that has been propagated. Uh, Therefore, these expansions, even though they are the same Supreme Person, but they are emanating from the source, which is the Lord Krishna. And Mother Devahuti also mentioned that it is so wonderful that the entire cosmic manifestation is in his belly. And she wonders how that Lord, whose entire cosmic manifestation is manifested in his belly, took birth in my womb. And she also answers his that by saying that Lord appears at the end of the millennium, lying down as an infant, lying down on a leaf of a banyan tree. Uh, we knew Lord, sometimes we call as Vatapatrashai, and I think that is what here the Sanskrit term is also Vatapatre, on the leaf of a banyan tree. Banyan tree. So just like a small baby, he lies down on the leaf of a banyan tree in the water of the dissolution. And I don't have the entire knowledge or the pastime of uh, when he comes. I think there is something about Markandeya sage who see the Lord lying on this banyan tree leaf, and he see the entire cosmic manifestation in his belly when he was withdrawn into his belly too. Uh, so this occurs at the time of dissolution, and therefore Mother Devahuti is remembering that. And also she says that he licks the toe of your lotus feet. And there are various glories of of the Lord, of his lotus feet. Uh, and the scriptures talks about the Srimad Bhagavatam, the canto 1 and 2 is also resembling or representing the Lord's lotus feet. There are various things in Bhagavad Gita that talks about his feet, his toe, his chest, his different body parts. So there are various glories. Recently, I was here attending His Holiness Rampada Swami Maharaj classes here at Palatine in Schaumburg. There, yesterday, he was talking about one of our six Goswamis, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, uh, as his appearance day was yesterday. And in that pastime, when Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, uh, in his tour to South India, he visits Puri, and then there, the chief priest, who is Venkata Bhatta, who is the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, he invites him. And due to the rainy season, for that 4 months, he stays in their house. And he washes his feet and gave that Charnamrita to his son, Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And he exhibited ecstasy, that bhava, soon after receiving the Charnamrita of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just by the touch of the water that is coming out of Lord's feet, again, he is the same Supreme Person as we know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So just by receiving the Charnamrita, he exhibits the ecstasy. So that potency, or that is there in Lord's Charnamrita, or the Lord's lotus feet. And there is another instance when I was reading in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Narada Muni visits Lord Shiva in his abode. He is in full ecstasy, just worshipping the Supreme Lord. He dances uh, without any clothes, and he's having his tandavam nritya. So it's dance so ecstatically, and Narada Muni praises him that he's the most favorable for the Lord. He is the one who has received all the mercy from the Lord. So there is this ecstasy from the pure devotees that we see. And how do we understand when we receive Charnamrita, when we see the Lord, deity worship, and all that happens? But this happens when we gets completely purified, and we come to that bhava stage, and then any devotee can exhibit that when one is in such a stage. And another very good thing, or very good concept that here the Maharaj has brought up is also from this verse where Prabhupada has written. Let me read the last paragraph. Since all the great sages and devotees apply all energy and all activities in the service of the lotus feet of the Lord, there must be some transcendental pleasure in the toes of his lotus feet. The Lord licks his toe to taste the nectar for which the devotees always aspire. And this is the one I want to highlight. Sometimes the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself wonders how much transcendental pleasure is within himself. And in order to taste his own potency, he sometimes takes the position of tasting himself. Just like Lord Chaitanya, he appears as a devotee to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellow in himself, which is tasted by Srimati Radharani, the greatest of all devotees. So, how the Lord enjoys within himself? He's all potent. He's he has all the transcendental pleasure which is within himself, and yet he takes that transcendental pleasure, just like here when Lord licks his toe. So how can we understand that? How Lord, which is all blissful, all knowledge, all pleasure, is a Satchitananda Rupa, still takes pleasure by exhibiting these pastimes. In this case, licking his toes. In other case, where in Dwaraka, uh, where Lord, just by seeing his own form on the floor, which is like a mirror, and he is enchanted by looking at his own form. Uh, so how do we understand that? And Maharaj explains in that class. This is quoting from Jiva Goswami's Bhakti Sandarbha, where he brought up this the Bhakti Shakti, which is one of Lord's internal potency, or we know as Hladini Shakti. So that potency, which pleases him, even though he possesses all opulence, all pleasure, the Hladini Shakti, which is intrinsic within him and not separated, or it's inseparable from him, that potency, that pleasure potency pleases him. And we see several pastimes of the Lord. The same potency brings pleasure. One of them is Damodar Leela, how he himself surrenders to his mother. Uh, so that brings pleasure to him. And we also know it brings even more pleasure. He experiences even more delight with contact of the same bhakti potency or the bhakti shakti in his devotees. And when devotees do some things that pleases the Lord, Krishna is even more uh, delightful. So one of the analogies Maharaj mentioned is when we offer Ganges unto Ganges. So we see devotees offering Ganges water when they visit River Ganga, and then it's the same way. How can we offer Ganges to Ganges? And just like offering lamp to the sun. Similarly, this this when this is the same bhakti shakti, or that bhakti is within our heart, and we offer the devotional service back to the Lord. Maybe we can think of offering bhoga with devotion, or anything chanting with devotion. Krishna sees us, and he is more delightful because the same bhakti is within our heart, and the same bhakti is within Krishna. It delights him so much. He experiences uh, so much bliss just by seeing that. And one of the uh, purpose, I mean, in this purpose, Prabhupada also mentions the when he appears as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which we know he appears as a devotee, uh, is in the mode of a devotee, in the mode of Srimati Radharani, and that also to taste the sweetness of the transcendental mellows. So that there is this Maharaj explains how to understand that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than the Supreme Lord himself. So when he visits, again to the previous pastime, when he visits uh, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's house, there he instructs that to this the child who is like 9-10 years old. Before he leaves, he says, "You join in Vrindavan when you grow old, and your parents leave this material world. Then you go and join Rupa and Sanatana Goswami." And there, in his dream, after he leaves, in Gopal Bhatta Goswami's dream, he appears in his dream and as a son of Nanda Maharaj, assuming the form of a mendicant. Uh, and when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this, uh, also says that you are none other than the servant of Radharani in Krishna's pastimes, and you are Gunamanjari. Uh, so that's how he reveals in his dream that he's not different than Lord Sham Sundar. So that is an exchange between this uh, between his devotee and the Lord. So there are various ways that we can understand that Lord, when appears as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is none other than the Lord, Supreme Lord himself. So this is the verse that Devahuti prays to his divine son, Lord Kapila Muni, and there are series of prayers coming after this, how she exchanges her her prayers with the Lord. I think I will stop here. There is just a more minute and see if there is any questions or comments. I'll stop it here. Please let me know, devotees, if you want to share something more. Is it
Hare
Lakshmi?
Krishna.
Oh, sorry. Go
Sorry.
ahead, Krishna.
I just a question that came to my mind as you were speaking. Actually, first of all, I wanted to say thank you so much for bringing up Gopal Bhatta Goswami's, um, Lord Chaitanya's interaction with Gopal Bhatta Goswami. And it certainly brings home the point of today's verse. But, but the immediate thought that came to me was, we go drink Charanamrita every day from the temple. you know, we look at the form of the deity, but I guess I was playing a devil's head advocate in my head. A part of me was like, theoretically, we know that the form of deity, I mean, Radha Shamasundar, are non-different from the Supreme Lord. But of course, in our heart, there is not a sincere understanding of that. Is that why we don't receive it, or what else? Like what else could it be? Why is that? Even in the case of Narada Muni, right? He partook in that, like you mentioned, that Mahabhagavata's remnants, and then he was, lo and behold, he's Narada Muni.
Hmm.
So anyway, that question came to my mind. If you have any comments, please do offer, Prabhu.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of this, I feel, as you said, we are not Narada Muni, or we are not Lord Shiva, who is in that mode of ecstasy, who are already there. Uh, so one thing I always feel like when I chant, why I cannot have that ecstasy, or when I take Charanamrita, or when I see Lord's deity form, this is this is I take it as a uh, opportunity for purifying myself. And as I keep repeating that the same activities, the temple, or worshiping the deities, or chanting, I know it is purifying me. And how do we see we in our own lives that since last few years, how our sadhana is helping us see things differently. So that tells us it is acting on us. But as you also know, that there's miles of contamination within our hearts, so it takes time. And that's where uh, I believe in being impatient and do whatever we are doing. And someday, yes, we might be there to feel that ecstasy, the mercy of the Lord and his pure devotees. But I see it as a purification, and we need more purification. Thank you, Mataji, for bringing that up.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, anyone else have any comments? If not, we'll end it here. Thank you for joining. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha